good agent doesn't need gadgets. The only gadgets he ever needed are a sharp eye, sensitive hearing, and a whole bunch of bigger brains. This is the best agent in the world, believe it or not. I hope you're ready for another Johnny English dangerous adventure. Stay with me until the end, as I have some really interesting news to share with you. Now let's jump in with a short recap.
And who are you exactly?
English. Johnny English.
Raise your hand if you're waiting for another movie with a bumbling British spy, Johnny English. I must say nobody expected the third movie as well, but here we are. It seems like there's a fourth one on the horizon. Exactly 20 years since the first movie was released, Johnny English is striking again. I bet nobody could have done this except for Rowan Atkinson. The whole point of the Johnny English franchise is parodying the James Bond secret agent genre. We must admit it worked well in the first movie, it wasn't bad in the second movie, and it was terrible in the third one.
I'm not sure I've ever met a man quite like you, Basil.
Let me clear up the uncertainty for you. You haven't.
Why is it that you'd ask? Well, there has been just one joke all the time. It's a pretty good joke, but it gets tiring fast. It might work well as a sketch comedy bit, but really, even with all that glamorous locations, Emma Thompson, and elaborate slapstick, the third one wasn't on point. It seems like they ran out of ideas, that the only way to get a laugh was Atkinson dropping his pants and showing his saggy bare bottom. The joke goes this way: Johnny English is a supremely incompetent and supremely confident spy. He is also hapless, clueless, and thoughtless, but somehow he's always saving the day. In the last film, he's retired as an agent, and he's teaching in the picturesque British countryside in one of those boarding schools. As we see him instructing his young pupils in spycraft, you'll notice that there's a flicker of interest, and for a moment we think there's some potential here. You know, for a moment you'll see him as Dumbledore for Hogwarts of spy kids. Unfortunately, that doesn't last very long. We're stuck with this inexplicably devoted sidekick and the bumbling butt-smug aging spy. After a cyber attack has exposed every agent in the field, Johnny is called back into service. The reason they called him is that most of the other retired agents are either recovering from prostate surgery, having hip operations, or dead. So another super important mission for English is on the list. The G12 meeting of world leaders is about to take place, and after English accidentally dispatches all of the other retired spies, the Prime Minister is desperate, so has no other choice than sending him to find where the attacks are coming from.
What are these?
Instant release super high energy pills. Like sticking your fingers in an electric socket.
So this scene after we have to see him pick up his equipment is all spy movies. This kind of became a sign symbol scene for the Johnny English franchise. He's an old school guy, so he doesn't accept the safety warnings and a hybrid car that Q equivalent tries to give him. Johnny won't take anything connected to the internet, either to try to save himself from a cyber espionage or because he doesn't have a bloody idea how they work. Well, both.
There's a Twitter handle, Instagram feed, and secure login for the department Uber account.
What's he on about, Buff? I need a weapon and not a box of gobbledygook.
He also picks up Beau, his sidekick. They grab the vintage Aston Martin and drive off to France. Overall, the whole movie, or better say, the whole franchise is a series of overlong skits with the same premise. Johnny English remains supremely confident and unruffled as he makes chaos all around him. We enjoyed some interesting quotes like Thompson's furious bite on phrases like the tsunami of tosspots we call the national press, and of course there are a few more laughs along the way. But even after all this being said, I can't say that we don't expect to see this character back again.
Let me crack it for you.
That's also Atkinson's opinion as well. In his last interview for Collider, talking about the character, he said, "Yeah, absolutely. He saves the world with such apparent ease, despite never really making a good decision. You can't quite believe that he does succeed, but he does love to. He's strangely brave and determined, and he just keeps going."
Or some kind of seagoing secretary, or...
Oh, no, sir. She's the captain of a nuclear submarine.
Rowan Atkinson is probably the only guy who can hit that like button just like you should do if you haven't done so already. No, really, he's probably the only guy who can create an iconic character out of something like Mr. Bean, even though the first appearance of this character was in the TV commercials for a credit card in 1992. He had an unusual career path over the years. My point is that everything is possible with this guy. There's always an empty space for more of Mr. Bean on Johnny English. As Atkinson would like to say, he doesn't look to the future very much, but he's always open for new opportunities. I just think what's the next enjoyable, successful thing that you might try to do? That's what keeps you going and exploring the possibilities. Every time we do a movie, whether it's a Johnny English movie or a Mr. Bean movie, I feel as though I discover more about the character. I always feel that the characters have actually changed, said the actor for Collider. The rumors about the new Johnny English movie became so loud lately that we couldn't stay calm, so we did a little research. Yes, it's true that there's no official release date, but as some insiders are claiming, there is a huge possibility that Johnny English 4 will start filming at the end of 2023. The title would probably be Johnny English Final Mission. The critical response to the third movie wasn't that good, so the franchise will have a chance for a remedial exam. Johnny English Strikes Again has grossed $154.5 million worldwide, but only $4.4 million in the United States and Canada. Based on 109 reviews, the movie holds an approval rating of 37% on the Rotten Tomatoes review aggregator, while the critical consensus of the website reads, Johnny English Strikes Again might get a few giggles out of viewers, pinging for buffoonish pratfalls, but for the most part, this sequel simply strikes out.
Here, let me take that. Don't worry, it's only a mild sedative.
Obviously, without Rowan Atkinson, this franchise won't exist, so we assume that he'd take the lead role again. I mean, what's the point if he's not there, right? Most likely, Ben Miller will come back as Angus Bow, an MI7 agent and English trusty assistant. Who knows, maybe Emma Thompson will smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. No, really, in all seriousness now, let's hope she'll be back. After all, England really had 2 women prime ministers in the past few years. I can't even say that the plot is kept under wraps because we couldn't really find any speculations related to the possible story.
What has happened to this country?
This franchise is always somehow connected to the current political events in England, and if that's the case in the new movie, oh, they have a list to choose from. We thought that Brexit was the final punch, but no, as a matter of fact, the country had some really interesting political events in the past 4 years. They'd really used the help of the best agent in the world.
Mr. Volta, welcome to Downing Street.
I have read so much about this wonderful building.
And who would take the responsibility of a project like this? Would that be David Kerr again? Let's hope so. In the last interview for Screen Rant, while talking about the director, Atkinson said he brings a pedigree in comedy, in TV comedy. This is his first proper feature, but it's always very difficult for people like me to find directors to work with because normally directors are, if you like, the auteur of the piece and in charge creatively.
Shall we start with your names?
Clearly, you have no idea who you're dealing with.
And even though I absolutely need someone to direct the film because every film needs a director, I also need a sympathetic and empathetic creative partner to allow us together to create what we want to put on the screen. It feels like there was real chemistry between the two of them, so it would be great if they create another great product. And what about you? What do you think will be the main focus of the new movie? Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.